right. Okay. So the recording has started now. Okay. So how are you?
I'm fine. And
All
what
right.
about you?
All good. I can see you as well now. Good to see you.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
Great.
I'll start I'll start with my introduction first. Okay. So I am Nashant. I have overall of the 19 years of experience now. Okay. I'm based out of India. I have worked in different software delivery aspects. Spent initial 40 years in testing, then moved into project management, then nowadays exploring the data science side of things.
Okay, great.
Okay, can I have your introduction as well?
Yes, yeah, sure. Uh, Actually, I have almost 2.5 years experience in QA. So, first of all, I have graduated in computer science, bachelor's in computer science in 2018. After that, I spent some of my time on my family business, almost 2 years. Then suddenly some family problems. So I'd have decided to switch in IT industry. So I choose QA, quality assurance field as a intern. So I spent almost a years in Islamabad-based company, which is Skyfi Technologies. So after that, actually at that time, COVID is it's on peak, so most of companies are working remotely. So it's a remote job. So
Okay.
after that, I will move on to Lahore for an on-site job. So I will start work as a full-time QA engineer at Software Interactive. So almost 1.1 years and 7 months I spent here, and currently I'm working there. So actually, here is I'm working in a lead project which is related to a Salesforce, which is called a planning app, which basically it's a sales planning tool. So now, currently, I am working on a new project, start onboarding on a new project, which is actually a mobile base. So currently, I'm exploring that.
Okay. So what is your role in your current project?
In current project, actually, we have a two-person QA team. So first of all, once actually it's a start of a project. So first of all, after client meeting with project manager, who QA team and project manager jointly writes all the requirements and then analyze and write down all the questions. Once everything is clear from client side, so we will start our planning related to sprint. So once sprint is set, then dev team starts their work according to the sprint, and QA team parallelly start work on test case writing and test case other things related to execution and planning. Once dev side complete is testing, then we will start our testing on staging. Once QA approve on staging, then we will deploy on production, and definitely we will also test on the production. After that, everything is clear, then we will update our clients so that our with release note that the committed sprint is delivered and you can you use for commercial use.
Okay. All right. Cool. So before starting the interview, let me quickly tell you a line or two about QA pillars. Okay.
Okay.
So QA pillars empowers QA professionals to reach their full potential and supports them in identifying gaps in experience for building a solid portfolio and being prepared for job opportunities.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So now we can maybe start with the interview. I think the topics which you have chosen is majorly around Agile, Scrum, and test reporting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's first understand what do you understand about Agile? What do you know about Agile?
Mm, Actually, in the start of IT industry, mm, like if a company plan that some like a system will implement in our
Uh,
most of the
you,
time it's a water.
Sorry, your voice is not properly audible. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
it is better
Can you
now.
hear?
Yeah, it is better
Okay.
now. Mm.
Well, in early 90s and 2000, most of the companies are following waterfall model in which we plan a complete. But in nowadays, IT systems are penetrate in each and end company, and requirements are suddenly changed. So you cannot set that like development is end, product is end. So that's why we are breakdown. We deliver the different who deliver the product in different parts. Like we first of all we prioritize the requirements, then we will deliver according to sprint by sprint. We will decide what deliverables goes first. So actually, it's a you can say you can set that it's a basically agile methodology is that you will like a short in agile methodology. Actually, we will actually develop the software in priority based on the requirement priorities, and then we will deliver according to it. So actually, it's a long term. So we will satisfy our client with the short term deliverables that we are working on. It's not at the end of the you will spend a year, then after that you will deliver, and client said that this requirement is not our meet our criteria. And
All right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, and which all frameworks of Agile you are aware about? So basically, do you know what is a framework first?
yes, in last project we are working, we are most of time following a Kanban style.
Canva. All right. Okay.
Actually, that our client is most of time ask for the features, so we cannot plan the things in a sprint. So we will definitely we will after 2 days, 3 days we will need to deliver a feature. So that's why most of the time we use Kanban, in which we will only track the relevant task and their subtask. Like we are not divide the complete different things in complete sprints. So we will work in a Kanban style in which we will just deal with the relevant task and move the card according to it. So actually,
Okay.
most of the time we're working on it that.
Are you aware about the difference between, say, Scrum and Kanban?
Yes, actually, Scrum basically Kanban is a basically is a Kanban style is that how to deal the different tasks and the things. Basically Scrum means
Can you
Scrum.
bring your mouthpiece again in front of
Okay,
you?
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Scrum basically deals with the communication. Actually, Scrum mean is that better communication between team owner, product owner. So and on daily basis, clarify the things which is in progress and in future in progress. It's basically short update relevant task. In Kanban style, we will divide task and definitely we track that product. But on for daily updates, we will set up a Scrum.
For daily updates, we'll set up a Scrum.
Basically, it's a most of the time it's Scrum deal with communication for better work environment between development team, QA team, and definitely a product owner.
Okay. All right. And now, considering you initially talked about sprint. So do you know what is a sprint?
Actually, sprint is a like a first of all we will decide different tasks and then break down it and according and in we will decide which task we will deliver in a milestone. Actually, it's a milestone sprint relevant. So we will decide this duration resource which is will use it and the task which is basically so that thing is called a sprint.
Okay. All right. And are you aware about the Scrum ceremonies? Which all Scrum ceremonies or Scrum events are there?
Some ceremony.
Scrum ceremonies or Scrum events?
Uh, Actually, most of the time I am aware about daily Scrum meeting, which is definitely held in front in our team.
Uh,
So,
Bring your
uh,
mouthpiece in your mouth.
sorry, I am aware about daily Scrum meeting, which is set up on daily basis, in which we will get details about from every dev, QA, which task on yesterday progress and today in for future progress. Secondly, also get if any new requirement came from product owner, definitely it will discuss in Scrum meeting or any change
Very
because
nice.
Agile is ported in definitely Agile is in Agile methodology change is inevitable at any stage.
Very nice. Okay. So you are aware about Delhi Scrum. Any other event you are aware about? This is one of the event you were right.
No, 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 no.
No. Okay, no problem. Okay. Which all roles are there in Scrum? You talked about PO or product owner.
Yes,
Other
yes.
than that,
Scrum Master and your other team is like which is include dev team, QA team, or like a design member. Most of the time, definitely nowadays companies also have a UI UX designer. So basic is core part is that product owner, team, and Scrum Master.
you're absolutely right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's move a bit ahead. Now, when we talk about sprint, how do
Yes.
you how do you or the Scrum team decide which all stories we need to pull in a sprint?
Um, First of all, before first of all, in start, we will just a detailed sprint meeting in which client gives all the requirements,
Okay.
which definitely when so first of all when we get the requirements from client, so we will sit with the project manager and write down all the requirements, and QA team definitely have a knowledge about the product which is on working betterly for better QA. So we will analyze our requirement. After that, so all the dev team, project manager, and QA team sit in meeting area and discuss the requirements. So after that, dev gives the estimate about the development time and ultimately QA for the QA time. If anything outside our limits of the like most of sprints are 2 weeks, so we will move it in backlog and all the things which is we discussed then that stories will put in the current sprints. So dev team according to so all the backlog tasks will discuss with client and ask for the more time if that is not possible in 2 weeks, so we will require some like 3 weeks, so according to after that we will move that task in next sprints.
Very nice. Okay. So Asad, we call it as a sprint planning meeting, wherein we
Yes,
discuss about the requirements. So this is also
yes,
one of the Scrum event.
yes.
Okay. All right.
Mm,
Okay. So there
thank you.
two questions here. One, you mentioned that client gives you the requirement.
Yes.
Uh, do you know the difference between a client and a PO?
Uh, y- Product owner basically like in our current structure in which our CEO basically sit outside the country. He deals with different clients, and after that he will discuss. He will do meetings with us. So in current scenario, we will ask our CEO as a product owner because we are not directly with clients.
All right.
So when so product owner is that we will responsible to who will responsible to update like if an issue and other things is that product owner. If client is directly, then definitely is a product owner.
Okay. So in your case, you're saying your CEO is acting as a client as well as product owner. Yeah.
Yes,
Because you,
definitely. You
okay.
can see. But
All right. But otherwise, do you know what is, I mean, What is the role of a product owner in case we have a one person designated as a product owner?
Yes, then definitely the product owner have responsibility to collect the requirements and discuss in sprint meetings. And product owner is fully responsible when that the requirements and all the documentation which is prepared during sprint meeting. So basically, if any issue came, is that like we will update product owner.
Very nice. You know about it. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's move a bit ahead. You mentioned that you note down all the requirements. So first, who notes down the requirement and where? Is
Mm,
everyone sitting in the is everyone part of the Scrum team notes down on a copy, or how does it happen?
First of all, in start, project manager and QA team is only uh, sit in a requirements meeting.
Okay.
He note down all the requirements and then analyze QA. But like somehow when you before start development, you have some questions related to requirements and other things which is need to be clear before these requirements delivered to the dev teams. So after that, when everything is clear, then we will do a sprint meeting in which we will discuss the requirements, including devs. First of all, only QA and project manager.
Okay. And why is that? Why the dev team is not involved in the first meeting?
Actually, like in startup time, that project manager get the requirements and write down all the requirements. So and questions. Like dev team is mostly deal with the development. If you write a story, then definitely if you assign us some devs, then it will start the work. So most of time, dev is not a part of analysis and other things. It's just focus on coding. So first of all, that's why project manager and QA writes down all the questions and related to. Then once every scenarios is clear, then definitely it will write on the then everything is clear, then we will involve the QA dev teams and if any technical questions, because most of in start requirements are basically not a technical.
All right. Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. And how do you decide that which all stories we can pick in one sprint?
uh, definitely it's actually first of all, most of time we will decide that which thing we will deliver according to our sprint plan. Like if we are planning that a sprint is a 15 days, so if a feature will exceed on the more than 15 days and the somehow resource is not available, so first of all we will discuss definitely our requirements. Client also gives the priorities, so first of all we will prioritize the things according to that. If the something is that like a client is in client priority but it exceed from the our 15 day sprint limits, so he will move it in backlog and the remaining priorities which is asked from required by the client, asked from client, so he will write down that thing. So actually we will move in the backlog things will again discuss with client, either if it is these feature is important, then it will might be disturb our sprint plan, so he will take some more time. If he allows, then definitely we will add that feature is also.
Okay. So, Asad, my question is, suppose in a Scrum team there are say 5 developers, okay, and there is one QA lead who is Asad, and there is one more
Yes,
QA,
that's
okay, and suppose the project manager says there are 20 P1 stories, out of which what I'll do is I'll give 2 stories to each of the developers. So for now, I'm picking 10 stories for my 5 developers.
okay.
Okay, in the current sprint, in the next upcoming sprint. Okay,
Okay.
and the 10 stories have been pulled in the sprint. But Asad feels that somehow QA cannot test all those scenarios or create all those scenarios for those 10 stories. What would Asad do here?
So actually, when in the start of when definitely stories are write down on a task management tool. After that, both QA teams with sit with project manager and start their test planning. So we will first of all we will divide out of five stories to each one, and pick by jointly with mutual discussion. After that, which task will deal by that QA. If I pick first of all I analyze first which thing is I have more grip on requirements, so I will choose according to that. So it's not that 10 out of 10 stories are tested by a one QA, and yes, parallel testing. So most of time we will divide the task. Like currently we are two QAs, so definitely five stories we will divide each one and test, and according to report that if five tasks tested by other queues, then definitely he will responsible about it.
Okay, so you're saying that whatever the number of the stories the project manager says, you will always divide it by the number of QA. Is it?
Mm, no, so sorry. Actually, it's a joint discussion. It doesn't mean कि five out of five. Like somehow a QA test six, seven card, which like I am working from the start of the project, and the other QA which is on board is mid of the project. He have less knowledge about the project. So definitely most of the time he will ask about the different
Okay, so
in past well features. So we when once we are mutually discuss, so we will discuss that you can test these three cards and other seven will test by myself. So which is also our test plan part.
yeah, my question was majorly around how Asad will deal the situation that suppose five or the other tester is also equally experienced. So you both have divided five stories among you. But you, as a person, as a QA person, feels that the stories which are being picked are quite complex, lengthy. The QA testing, the QA scenarios creation, and the execution would take a lot of time, which cannot be completed for all stories in the current sprint. So, how Asad will handle this situation?
Okay. If, then if in that case we will discuss first of all our project. I will lead our project manager,
Can
and
you, yeah, yeah,
I
bring them up. Mm.
okay, I will then I will ask our project manager that like other three tasks are less effortless, and my task my I have workload, so please ask that to assist on. So definitely we will ask that over some time that please assist us in that thing. If like somehow is not possible. So definitely in some cases, most of time my other QA partner definitely helps me. But if in some cases it's not possible, then definitely we will. If it's out of the like uh, 15 not completed in the 15-day sprint, so we will request with our client that we will take or 1 day or 2 days for a complete testing, then we will update you. So somehow from client side we get relaxation. Like in most of time my QA partner helps me when I will ask our project manager.
All right. So you're saying that you will pick all those 10 stories, and in case you are not able to complete, you will ask for some extended time.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Uh, so don't you think that you should raise the red flag early in the sprint when you think that the stories which are being picked are too high with respect to the estimate which you have, or you won't be able to complete it?
Uh, Definitely, uh, if I know that these things are not tested in the given time, definitely I will raise that. So in if in start somehow like you think that you will do in one day, but when the thing is development, it will take more than one day. Then definitely I will intervene. First of all, if when in start a sprint planning, definitely project manager asks for what how much time required QAs for QA. If I will ask 2 days, but when things are developed, it will take 3 days or 4 days, then definitely it will affect our sprint score. So
Hmm.
definitely I will reach out with project manager and ask that like provide me a resource or ask the resource to assist me. If it's not possible, then definitely ask client that we will take some time for a better quality and a successful deployment.
All right. Okay. Okay. Uh, Asad, how do you measure uh, the efficiency of your QA team member?
Like first of all, that is that efficiency is that the grip on the project. Like our like a QA as a QA member, you have complete knowledge about the scope of project, business logic, and the different tasks and develop and in features. Secondly, when a sprint is delivered, then ratio of bugs is most important thing. If you less bug from client side and in final integration, then definitely you do a good job with QA. And secondly, document each and everything bugs and write down and properly provide a release note to the client when once everything is clear from QA.
All right. So you mentioned that you would assess the post-production state and the basis on the bugs which would come up, you will define or you will assess his efficiency.
Can you repeat? Uh,
So you mentioned that basis on the bugs which you would get in the post-production
yeah,
release, you will majorly assess the efficiency of that person.
yes, definitely.
All right. Okay. Okay. Which all test matrices, software test matrices you are aware about?
Can you, sorry, I
Test
listen, yeah.
test matrices.
Yes,
Test.
yes, it is.
Which
Yes,
all
test
test matrix?
matrices. Actually, test matrices is in which you can draw matrix uh, against each feature and their subtask, and you can track the each and every features testing according to test matrix. Like uh, login, login have a 3 to 4 types. So we will in login matrix, you are a sub matrices of each and every it's a login test suite. So you can from the below level to top level, you can if all the thing is tested, you can set the our test matrix is from login is completed, testing is completed.
All right. All right. Okay. Zoom is giving me a warning that we're left for 10 minutes. So I'll ask the last question and then we'll come to the feedback part. Uh,
Okay.
so you as a QA lead needs to write a test report to the senior stakeholders giving the progress about the QA. Which
Yes.
all which all major things you would like to mention in that?
Final test reports related to a QA member.
No, no.
Mm,
So you want to send a QA progress report to senior stakeholders. Okay.
okay.
So which all major things you want to highlight, mention in that?
First of all, the things is that they, first of all, in the start of time, like a first like a dev said that he will develop that feature in 4 days and like 5 days is min. If dev is take more time than then I will highlight that thing is that that thing is affect our QA time, and we will not complete our actions. Might be a possible that due to short time we will might be a possible defects. First of all, we will write down all the defects which is we are facing and the fixes done by the QA in sprint. And then secondly, all the possible bug leakages. Definitely some bug leakages and sorry, bug glitches. We will also write down all the possible bug release. Sorry, bug glitches, not bug glitches, bug releases. Like definitely some vulnerabilities, we will left out that thing. We will move it with that thing. So after that, definitely we will write up some suggestions related to which we learn from the that constraints like time and task and some better improvements. Like if we see that something like in design or our feature workflow, we will suggest it. So all that things we will write in the test report.
All right. Okay. Okay. Cool. I am done. Asad, any question you want to ask before I move to feedback?
Uh, Most of the time, like that, a candidate have a question related to a
Asad,
company's.
sorry, can you bring
Uh,
your mouth, please? In.
sorry. First, most of time QA, most of time question related relevant to the company's environment, behavior, work style. But it's a good thing you clear all the things in the start, how QA pillars works, and your experience and other things. So that's a good thing. So after that, I think don't think so. Okay, any question left on my end?
All right. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let me move to the feedback section. Uh, I think you started well. You clarified. You gave your introduction, and you know about the agile as to what the agile is, and you have understanding a bit of understanding about Scrum as well. But I'll suggest that you should maybe you can read more about the Scrum ceremonies, which I was talking about. Majorly, I think you may know about it. It's just that you don't know the name because you were speaking a lot of things about the Scrum event. Like you mentioned that you know about daily Scrum, you know about sprint planning. It was just you didn't know the name as sprint planning, but you mentioned that you talk about the requirements as to which all needs to be pulled in the sprint. Then I think you also mentioned that you will mention about lessons learned, which is actually a sprint retrospective, which is done post closure of the sprint. Okay.
Okay.
And we also do sprint review. It is majorly at it could be at the end of the sprint or the last of the sprint, post sprint, to showcase as to what as a group, as a Scrum team, whatever things are developed and how the things are working. A working prototype is shown to client. So these are majorly the Scrum events which are there. I think you would be doing all in your organization. It's just that you don't know the name of it. Yeah.
Mm, that's a great
Right.
you share. It's a good thing you share a feedback about the interview. Most of companies definitely I experience most of interviews, but it's the first of time I will know. I saw that someone share a feedback about my interview and my skills, which things I need to prove. That's a good thing.
All right. You're always welcome. Asad, uh, QA pillars may help you in improving your skills as well. Okay. And I also noticed that you are clear about the rules of the Scrum. Uh, okay, and you know the difference between client and PO, which I asked. You were also right in mentioning that you will talk about yourself when any list of sit-in stories are given to you. You'll talk, divide according to the skill set of the person. You won't be burdening to the second person only. You will be taking that pragmatic call as to how much you want to take up and how much you want to give that to that second person. One thing which you mentioned that you at the end you will reach out to the client, and when I asked about the initial red flag, you also mentioned that you would raise the flag in case you think you won't be able to complete the stories on time, which is good. The earlier we get to know, the earlier we sense that we may not be able to complete, it is good for the overall delivery. And it is always good that whenever we sense that we need to raise that red flag to our Scrum Master that this may not be possible to complete in the sprint, so that that person, Scrum Master, could inform to the client as early as he can, so that we could set the expectations of the client that whatever work we have picked up, we may not be able to complete within this sprint, rather than telling it maybe at the end of the sprint. That may not give a good uh, maybe a good image about ourselves as a Scrum team. Okay. Uh, Test report, you mentioned that you would mention how much dev is overrunning bug leakage. I think it is important to clearly highlight which all are the things which are blocking you. So suppose you started testing and somehow there are certain blockers which are hitting you, which is impacting your progress. So make sure that is the first thing which you need to mention, that these are the blockers which is impacting my QA execution progress. So please help to get that resolved as soon as you can. Okay. And clearly mentioning out that this is the current state of my stories. These many are delivered to us, these many are tested, these are in progress. So giving that clear view is very, very important for every state. Okay. All right. I think we have covered everything. Any last thing which you want to say?
No, sir. Thank you so much for
Okay.
the day.
Okay. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you, Asad. Let's close the
Nice.
call.
Thanks.
Thank you.